Well, hello, welcome. It's so great to have you here. Welcome to the OPF Academy Cohort 3 info session. We're super excited to have Julia and Denise and myself, Matthias, from the 1.5 team. Today, we're going to share a little bit about the upcoming cohort and give the key information that you need to sign up for the application process that's ongoing at the moment. We'll share details, and we're going to have a fantastic Q&A with some of our cohort 2 members. It's going to be a lot of fun. Let's get started. So today, our agenda, we're going to do a quick and brief welcome and introduction. We're going to take you into the origins of the OPF Academy. We'll share a little bit about the OPF Academy curriculum, the programming and structure, and we're going to hear from some of our recent cohort 2 graduates, fresh from graduation last Friday. And then we're going to turn to a Q&A. Now, if you're playing from home, feel free to add comments and questions into the chat or into the comments underneath this LinkedIn video, and we'll bring those questions up and answer as a team. Fantastic. Amazing. So our team at OPF is super excited to put this academy together. This is our 3rd cohort that we've put together. We come from a range of different backgrounds of traditional institutions, educational institutions, and we have a fantastic team that's been behind the scenes putting together all this content with rich research and insights informed by our practical project knowledge in the sustainability space. Next slide, please. Sure, we'll get to the next slide in a little bit. But our co-facilitators, myself, Julia, and Neil, really spearhead the cohort education. Now, at the moment, there's some application key dates that we'd love for you to understand. Applications at the moment are actually accepted on a rolling basis. We typically send an email within 2 weeks letting you know if we would like to schedule a 15-minute interview with you. And right now you can apply before Sunday, September 10th. That's this coming Sunday by 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to be eligible for our $1,490 pricing tier, which saves you $500 off tuition. Now, in terms of onboarding will occur the week of October 23rd, and the following week we'll kick off our curriculum. Next slide, please. Amazing. So let's go into a bit about why we're here and the origins. So I don't have to tell you, but it's getting hot in here. In New York right now, it's sweltering at the moment with heat going off the charts. And we've seen that across the world as well. Next slide, please. And net zero commitments across the world at the global level are actually increasing. We can see on this chart that actually 16.5% of global emissions are covered by a target in law. And interestingly, about 21.3% of global emissions are not covered by any submission. So there's a lot of work that's come, but there's a lot of work to go as well. And that really drives the heart of what we're trying to build for the OPF Academy. Next slide, please. Now, this is also happening at the company level. Now, companies with science-based targets or commitments to reduce greenhouse gases have rocketed over the past decade since 2015, going to around 4,644 commitments by 2023. And at the same time, this is increasing compliance costs and impacting company bottom lines. When we look at the annual average spend for companies and investment firms, on the company side, we're seeing an average of $539,000 per firm across greenhouse gas analysis, climate scenario analysis and/or disclosure, and internal climate risk management. And when we look at the investors, they're spending on average $1.4 million per firm, using funds to collect, analyze, and report climate data to inform investment decisions. And you might have seen this fantastic green skills report brought to you by LinkedIn, Microsoft, and BCG. It actually shows this incredible gap that on an annual level shows a 2% shortage between the job postings requiring green talent and the available share of green talent as well. Now, of course, this gap must be filled either internally or externally, such as via consultants, given the lack of time we have to address the climate on the trajectory that we are on at the moment. And this is not just hitting compliance. Projected spend is set to impact both energy transition and risk and reporting. Through this report that we're showing on the screen here, 50% of respondents predicted that energy transition plans would increase consulting services by 25%. Around 20% agreed they would double at a minimum. And about 2/3 agreed climate reporting needs would increase costs by at least 10%. And this extends as well to customer impacts and supply chain impacts as well. Outside environmental functions, product and operations are most likely to be disrupted as enterprises pivot to a sustainability strategy, as customer strategy and supply chain strategy are impacted. And then we've identified these high priority skills that are needed to launch into sustainability work. And they tie and really overlap with digital skills as well. We have data collection and management, carbon accounting and reporting, climate change fundamentals, broad stakeholder management, and business intelligence, digital design and visualization, all coming up at the top of this Microsoft, LinkedIn, and BCG report and skills survey. But what we're seeing at the moment is that prior jobs of sustainability managers are often not in sustainability. 4 out of the top 10 prior jobs most often held by sustainability managers were actually not sustainability focused, largely coming from places like business operation roles, program manager roles, quality assurance managers, and customer service representatives. Climate has become much more interdisciplinary, much quicker than expected, and has required more skills than previously acquired at university or college. So, what are the implications of our current pathway? Well, right now, as we can see by the yellow line, we're currently on a 4+ degrees Celsius warming pathway, where future sustainable growth is at severe risk without proactive action onto a 1.5 degree Celsius 1.5 pathway. And so, don't know where to start? We have this sustainability accelerator to make it impact now and to get you onto the 1.5 pathway. Our approach to the OPF Academy is guiding you onto this 1.5 pathway, wherever you are on this 5-step journey to decouple emissions from sustainable growth. We'll teach you how to learn and commit, measure and analyze, plan and execute, invest and reduce, and learn about sustainability consulting as well across all these functions of services, technology, finance, and training. And at 1.5, I think we're getting a little bit of delay on the loading of the slides, but at 1.5, we fundamentally believe that the climate crisis can be solved by deploying the best of human ingenuity. And so we have our own project teams modulated by this expert network, as we know that interdisciplinary solutions are required to solve the climate crisis, and it's all powered by people. And so in our training and upskilling backgrounds, we've done things around cohort-based training. How can we train in-house climate teams and experts? We've done workshops and educations. How can we learn climate topics and practical solutions? We've done sustainability execution. How can we really stay on top of best practice approaches when there's so many new solutions out there in the space? And then looking at technical skill sets, how can we really learn these really technical skill sets required in the environmental field? All right. Well, hopefully that gives you a great introduction into what we're about at 1.5, some of the origins on why we put this course together, and a little bit about how we work. I'm going to pass this over to Julia, who's going to take care of walking you through the academy curriculum and the programming and what to expect next.
Great. Thanks, Matthias. Hello, everyone. My name is Julia. I'm an associate director at 1.5, and I also teach a few weeks of the academy itself. And so before we dive into what each week looks like, we wanted to share who are our typical audience for the academy, which individuals tend to see the most benefit from taking this course. And so if you fall into one of these categories, then this might be the course for you. So we tend to see that people who take the academy are rising sustainability experts. So that these are individuals who have environmental or business backgrounds, but they're really looking to get those practical skill sets that you get in order to execute climate projects. We also see what we call ambitious climate curious professionals. So these may be early to mid-career individuals who do have some functional experience or expertise, such as product management or project management, marketing, etc. But they really want to get those corporate sustainability or sustainability consulting toolkits. And last, we also see what we call technical environmentalists. These are individuals who might be environmental professionals with backgrounds in science, engineering, and academia, who want to bridge their backgrounds and get practical skills to be able to move up or enter the corporate world. And we have had lots of people who don't fit into these three buckets who have really enjoyed the program as well. And so in order to build the curriculum in the first place, what we did when we designed it is, one, we did not do this in a vacuum. We looked to multiple sources to determine what were the skills that individuals were really looking for and missing, and what was needed within the industry as well. So we looked to see what we did during our own client projects and the skills that we needed in order to execute well. We also looked through job posts on the internet and the latest industry research to determine what were the top corporate sustainability skills that were sought by employers. And we found employers placing specific focus on greenhouse gas accounting and modeling, certifications, reporting frameworks, and analytical problem-solving skills. We also polled our past OPF Academy applicants, as well as Cohort 1 and Cohort 2 Academy members when they joined, to understand what their key pain points were, as well as their key topics of interest, which included, for example, how do you create a net zero strategy? How do you build a decarbonization roadmap? How do you actually analyze the environmental impact of a product? So on and so forth. Next slide. And so as a result, after identifying what these skills and practical knowledge bases were that people really wanted to learn, we developed a 6-week-long curriculum that tends to follow the sustainability journey of our customers, which Matthias introduced, that 1.5 pathway. And so we designed the 6 weeks to hit at each point of that pathway. And what would a company that was at a certain point need to know and need to master to then progress to the next part? So for our academy, for example, in week 1, we cover climate strategy, target and goal setting. Then in weeks 2 and 3, that's when we move into measurement and analysis, where we both tackle scope 1, 2, and 3 measurement. That's at the organizational sustainability level. And then we also dive deep into product level sustainability, where you learn life cycle analysis. Moving on to week 4, this is when we tackle the thorny alphabet soup of reporting frameworks, disclosures, standards, and the ever-changing KPIs and metrics that we see around the world. And then week 5, this really gets to the heart of our communal path forward, which is decarbonization. How do you actually prioritize initiatives to decarbonize within an organization? And finally, we conclude week 6 with something that's unique and different to our academy, which is essentially a deep dive into sustainability consulting and how we actually do what we do, and essentially sharing our secret sauce with you. So I'll dive into each one of these weeks in the subsequent slides, focusing primarily on what our key learning objectives are. Next slide. Awesome. So starting with week 1, and as you can see on the left, this does kind of mirror that 1.5 pathway that Matthias introduced earlier. We dive into the concept of net zero, how sustainability came to be, what are the different types of sustainability goals out there. We set the stage introducing the most common frameworks and the importance of integrating climate justice into a company strategy. We also tend to have some amazing speakers to kick things off strong in week 1. In the past, we've had Jonathan Foley from Project Drawdown, who will be making a return, as well as Stefan Nicolo from Full Cycle, which he is a fan favorite. Next, moving on to week 2. This is when we dive into the world of greenhouse gas accounting, specifically scopes 1, 2, and 3. OPF Academy members will come away from this week understanding the key components of scope 1, 2, and 3 emissions and how to actually calculate these for a given company. We'll cover the most material categories for different industries. We'll touch on the limitations of greenhouse gas accounting as well and consider some of the new approaches out there. In the past, we've brought in speakers from some amazing carbon accounting companies such as Persephone, Climate Neutral, Unravel Carbon, and Sinai as well. Then moving on to week 3, this is when we focus on product level emissions specifically, as well as broader product level environmental impacts. We'll dive into life cycle analysis and the various environmental impact categories that you can assess through this process, as well as going through real life examples and case studies of green engineering principles and how changes in product design can really result in lower carbon and environmental footprints. You'll get to hear from practitioners in the space, such as from Planet Forward, Bluebird, and Carbon Calories. Then moving on to week 4, we dive deep into the various sustainability frameworks, standards, and reporting disclosures out there, including the latest breaking news. This past cohort 2, we were updating the materials up until the very last minute because things were changing week over week and there are new standards being introduced that we wanted to make sure members were aware of. So we're going to cover the latest developments as well as future trends that we foresee in the changing global regulatory landscape. We also touch on physical and transitional climate risks and how someone can identify these for a given organization. And we go through some of the leading software solutions and tools that can really make climate risk analysis and assessment much easier. So for example, in the past, we've had an individual from Servest, we have someone from Brookfield Asset Management, as well as other practitioners in the space. Then moving on to week 5. So this is an exciting one. We dive into the carbon markets value chain, including current and future trends. We discuss the requirements to design and build a financial environmental model, which is critical for measuring return on investment. We'll learn about carbon costing, including carbon taxes, internal cost of carbon, and everyone's favorite, marginal abatement cost curves. And we cover the key principles to consider when investing into decarbonization solutions. In the past, we've had some amazing panelists, such as Danny Kennedy from New Energy Nexus and Maria from Sinai. And our 6th and final week focuses on corporate sustainability as well as sustainability consulting, the trends, the career pathways, and skill sets needed to thrive, either working in-house for a company or as a consultant. We cover some of the best practice frameworks and tools that sustainability professionals use, how to structure an end-to-end project, and how to take your next steps after the OPF Academy. And this was a very quick sneak peek, so don't worry, all of this content is available on our website should you want to take a look at it in more detail. And now I will pass it on to Denise, who will go through structure and programming.
Hello, thank you, Julia. Really quick, my name is Denise, and I am the community manager here at OnePointFive. So really excited to chat with you about how the structure and the programming can look like for you if you choose to enroll and join us at the Academy. So first off, a little bit about cohort 2. So our past cohort had around 130 participants joining, and we expect that coming into our 3rd cohort. We'll have around 20 facilitated sessions, which include our educational labs, panels, and more. And then we'll also have over 15 guests come in for panels to come in and teach you about kind of our industry work happening within relating to the current curriculum that we'll have set for you all in the Academy. And so just to get an idea of the cohort schedule, so our cohort 2 start date was July 17th, but cohort 3 will be starting on October 30th, so just stay tuned for that. So what you can expect going forward is on Monday, we have a curriculum session from 1 to 3 p.m. Eastern Time. On Wednesday, we'll have our interactive lab session. On Monday, you'll get a curriculum session taught by our expert instructors, such as Matthias and Julia, and Neil also comes in and teaches some of our sessions as well. And then on Wednesday, you'll get to really apply what you learned in that Monday session into a really hands-on session. You'll get put into breakout rooms and you'll get to walk through almost kind of mini case studies to get to apply whatever it is that you learned on Monday. On Friday, we bring in expert speakers from the industry to come in and chat more about their experience working on their project or in the field. And then we typically follow that by some sort of networking session, whether that is a meet and greet with other members of the cohort or some form of study hall where you all can work together to study the material further. We also have an opportunity to participate in a small group. This is for around an hour, and you'll get matched with a group of 4 or 5 other members in the academy to meet additionally as sort of like an accountability group. And so in general, you can expect to spend around 5 to 8 hours a week on the academy, depending on if you really lean into networking and socials, extra time to review course content and things like that. And so what you can expect as a 1.5 graduate is that, one, you'll get really hands-on practice through our labs. These are, again, really tactical ways to apply the skills that you learned and really kind of sort of get your hands dirty on whatever it is that you learned that week. In addition, you'll get a shareable credential that is verified through Credverse. This will be personalized along with certificate ID. You'll upload these onto your LinkedIn and share them as you see fit. You also get continued access to the course materials even after the program ends. That goes along with our ongoing Circle community. So even after the program ends, you'll end on our platform called Circle, and you'll be continuing to interact with other members of the cohort and the course material, so you can have an ongoing learning experience. In addition, we also have in-person regional meetups, again, on our platform that we host all of you on called Circle. We have local hubs and opportunities to connect with your fellow cohort members in real life. And so what you'll get as a part of this ongoing access to the 1.5 community is that this community really leans on 3 important pillars, which are learning, support, and climate and action. And so we have different values that as you continue to be a part of our 1.5 community, you'll really get support in these ways. So one, we really believe that not only can you learn a lot from us, but also your fellow cohort members. Additionally, you'll get access to connect with the previous cohort members of the Academy and future ones as well. Through that, you can share that through continuous community-led learning events. You'll have lifetime access to the community resources. You'll get our takeaway slides or main slides from the sessions and things like that. We also expect that you all to support each other. Like one of our values is we believe that our community is greater and stronger than the sum of its individuals. On the Circle platform, we have Ask and Gives channels, the job opportunity channels, virtual circles, and real life meetups. So this will also be a community as you continue to learn and grow in your professional career as a climate professional. You'll be able to have this community to lean on and support and grow with. And then most importantly, we believe in action. So once you learn all this material, we want to support you all with this community to begin to really implement the work that you all learned. And so we have opportunities within this community to lean into each other to support you all as you continue to act on everything that you've learned throughout the program. And so this was our cohort 2 at a glance. So our last cohort had 126 members. We had 19 members represented. And as we've gotten feedback from our past cohort, 100% of our members reported that they feel more confident in their sustainability consulting skills even after the program ends. I've snapshotted a picture of us at the cohort 2 graduation recently. You can see everyone has their little graduation hats. And we had Kamal from Terra.do come in and speak to our graduating class. So excited to build this community as well in cohort 3 and meet you all at the end with all our Zoom graduation caps. And so now we will get to hear from some members of cohort 2 excitingly. So I'll pass it back on to Matthias, these are our cohort 2 graduates that will be coming and joining us today. So I'll pass it back to Matthias.
Thank you so much, Denise. What a great recap as well, Julia. Welcome, Emma and Adam. It's great to see you again. You guys look different since graduating. I think it shows some esteemed level of knowledge. It's great to have you here. So perhaps we could have maybe a bit of an introduction from Emma and then Adam, and then we've got a couple of questions prepared that we'd love to get your thoughts on for our community.
Sure, thank you very much. It's an honor to be here, and in support of what Denise just shared, one of the pillar one aspects for 1.5 is supporting community and to support the whole initiative. And I feel like us being involved in this, brings that support to the whole program. So I am Emma. I'm from South Africa, but I'm currently living in Bahrain. I've been here for the last 5 years. By qualification, I'm a chemical engineer. I have worked across the oil and gas industry, the petrochemical industry, the renewables, and I'm currently working for Solomon Associates as an advisor in the Sustainability and Strategic Insights Group. That's it.
Fantastic. Adam?
Okay, hi everybody. My name's Adam Gordon, and thank you, Matthias, and all of the rest of the 1.5 folks. It was really great learning from you guys. And yes, if I look different, it's because I'm much smarter than I was when we started.
Yeah, great.
So
great.
I am a longtime tech marketer. I specialize in the verbal brand, helping companies tell the right story. And I very much am working at migrating out of the tech world into climate because I just see a huge need for that. And I think our species survival might be dependent on all of these climate tech companies starting to be more successful. The area that I turned out to be really interested in was carbon dioxide removal, CDR, especially the DAC, the direct air capture space, and circular economy and agriculture. So those are the sectors that I'm going after, and I feel like the 1.5 Academy really gave me the background of knowledge to know when companies are working on sustainability, what they actually do and what it takes to be able to do that. And that's going to really help me tell those companies' stories. So thank you all.
No, thank you. Thank you. Perhaps if you can cast your eyes back to maybe a 2-month period ago when you applied for the OPF Academy, could you take us through why you actually applied? What were you looking to get out of it?
Emma, you want to go first? You want me to go first?
You can go first, Adam.
Okay, so I had taken the Climate Basic Fellowship just before I started 1.5. As a matter of fact, there was a 2-week overlap. And Matthias and Neil and Julia all were the instructors for that. So I was amazed by their brilliance and amazed at the extent and the rigorousness of what they do, and knew that at the close of the climate base, which gave me a broad perspective on the space, that I needed to dig a little bit deeper into what this actually takes in order for a company to start doing sustainability work. And so that was what inspired me to take the 1.5 course.
Amazing. Emma?
Yeah, for me, it actually goes back a little bit further. So our parent company actually brought in the 1.5 consultants to do a workshop for them on carbon markets. And so some of my colleagues in the US attended, and they came back and they were like, these consultants are great. And, so I started following 1.5 then personally on LinkedIn. And I was intrigued by the way you guys did business, the way you presented things, the stuff you shared. So when the Academy popped up, it obviously pricked my interest. I went and looked at the topics you would be covering. And although there was a lot of the material when I looked at it that I felt like I maybe knew, I thought, well, one can always learn, right? And I kind of could see that you guys were on the top of the latest and the greatest of what's happening. And I was kind of well aware that if you don't stay on top of what's happening, you fall behind very quickly. And I think Julia alluded to it in that you were updating slide decks as we were going, right? And so that kind of confirmed the thing. I was like, well, I've got nothing to lose. I'm going to sign up. I must be able to learn something. And I learned a lot. So that was how I got involved.
Yeah, amazing. And maybe a glimpse to the behind the scenes behind the course. We would love to have all the slides ready to go 6 weeks in advance so people can actually review them before going to class. But the reality of it, especially in the regulatory space, things change so quickly. So poor Julia, since that's her week. I'd love to know how OPF Academy contributed to your understanding of the corporate sustainability space from where you were before to where you are now? Maybe Emma, do you want to take this one first, and then we can move it over to Adam?
Yeah, as I said, like a lot of the material, I felt like I had some basic fundamental knowledge of it, but what I really feel like it did is it solidified what I knew, and it showed me where there were gaps, and there were some obvious gaps. So like, if I can say the one key thing for me that really enhanced my knowledge of the corporate sustainability space would be the LCA portion. But I knew that was something where I was lacking a bit. So that for me was my key week. But even in the greenhouse gas accounting and reporting and the sustainability reporting, I mean, I've done the GRI course, I've dug into that a lot, but it was just really awesome to have the confirmation that, okay, this is what it is. There's not something extra. And most of the time there was something extra, even if it was a little bit extra, right? And it just nicely solidified everything. And the take-home slides and how it's all pulled together makes a big difference for me, and I'm sure things that I'm going to lean on going forwards. So,
And for me, you know, again, coming out of climate-based, I had a very good view of the entire sector. This gave me a much more in-depth view on the various pieces of sustainability that companies have to do. Like Emma commented on LCA and, you know, the marginal abatement cost curves. And really what I see now is just how rigorous and demanding doing the sustainability work is. You know, it's essentially the same as financial accounting, but you're counting carbon molecules or whatever molecules rather than dollars. But the same rigor, the same depth of analysis, the same gathering of information is required. And it was really enlightening to see just how much effort a company has to put into actually doing something that's sustainable and not be busted for greenwashing.
Yeah, some fantastic points there. Maybe putting on your rose-colored glasses here and looking back at your academy experience, what would you say one highlight or favorite moment that you had throughout the OnePointFive Academy?
Oh, that's easy for me. It was one of the labs where I finally got it all to work. Like, okay, the numbers are coming out right. That was really
it clicked.
It was great, you know, as opposed to just getting conceptual knowledge, to actually be able to actually produce something with the models that you guys created for us. So that was, though there were a couple of those moments, and those were by far the, you know, my biggest dopamine moments of the course.
Yeah, amazing. Emma?
I think for me, it's not really one moment. For me, the highlight of the whole course was the effect of it. So like starting with the platform, the circle platform, where everything is organized and everything is there, and there's all the different sections where there are the gives and the asks and the questions. I mean, it's so much more than just the sessions. So if you follow that, and if you read the questions and things that people are asking, you can get so much more from it. I mean, even to the introductions before we joined, when everyone was sort of saying hello, you know, it was kind of nice to have a bit of an idea about someone. And so that was really nice. I mean, all the throughout the sessions, even in the actual sort of core curriculum sessions, the breakout rooms, the fact that it wasn't just sitting listening to someone the whole time, were very interactive. I mean, the little prompts when we came on in the beginning and share some fun facts, or, you know, it was more, for me, it's not this like boring basic training that you sit there and you just listen. So the interactive part of it, which maybe ties up a lot with sessions, which are obviously very interactive, but, you know, the socials on the Friday, they gather around and things. In terms of the course content, though, if there was one thing that stood out, and it's probably going to be a strange one, possibly, is in the last week, the little nugget that Neil shared on project management tools and tips and tricks and things like that. Coming from a project management background, I thought that was great, and it was a real sort of nugget and a bonus, and looking forward to you guys releasing a full course on that.
Yeah, maybe that's on the cards for us. Fantastic. Two very distinct answers, maybe two distinct personalities. One getting maths questions right, and the other really keen about the people. But no, that's fantastic. I'd love to hear from you if you had one piece of advice for someone who's right now looking to put through an application, they're a little bit scared about what to expect, a little bit apprehensive. What would you say to them to help them consider participating for this upcoming cohort?
I'll jump in and say, I would say to them, yeah, just do it, you know. But and I kind of, as I said that, then I think, well, how sustainable is Nike? So I think you get a bit brainwashed in this. Like, maybe I shouldn't reference them in case they're not so sustainable. So maybe you can work them and do a case study. And then But no, I mean, I do seriously mean it. I feel like if people are a beginner, it will provide them with the foundation and the framework of where they should start. And it will probably be a bit overwhelming because there's a lot of info that's packed into, say, that 2-hour session on a Monday.
Yeah.
But you can go away, you can do the pre-reading, you can do the post-reading, and you've got the tools, and you know this is framed, this is where it is. If you sort of intermediate or advanced, you can still get something from it, and you know you will get the take home, you'll get the nice summary, you'll get your knowledge solidified, and I guarantee you there'll be something that you don't know. So, and I mean, like a lot of the expert speakers that you got in, they kind of alluded to that as well, which was kind of comforting, that they even admitted they don't know everything, right? And this, I think it's the reality of the space. It's continuously growing. So how are we going to stay up, you know, up to date on what's happening in the world, and if we don't sort of do these sorts of things and interact and learn from each other. So I would encourage, if it's something that interests you, it doesn't matter what your level, doesn't matter what your background. I mean, there was a variety of people from different backgrounds, different qualifications, different levels of experience, and I think everyone got something out of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I would say, if you're at all interested in getting into the climate space, the knowledge that you'll get out of this program is just invaluable. Whatever aspect of climate you want to go into, whether it's like me doing climate communications or actually doing carbon accounting or life cycle analysis, whatever part of the industry you want to get into, the knowledge that you'll get here is just going to be invaluable in terms of being able to understand the process, know what companies go through to do this, and begin to be able to, if this is what you see as your future, actually go into the space of being a climate or a sustainability consultant. One of the things I found amazing about this is Matthias and Neil are basically creating their own competition. I still think
put us out of business.
Tomorrow, the first thing I would do is hire you guys. But I would have a much better sense of exactly what is required and how to go about it.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Emma and Adam. Really appreciate you joining us and sharing your insights. And great to see you as fresh graduates from Cohort 2, sharing your wisdom and insights. Fantastic. So I think we'll bring the rest of our team back on, and we'll say goodbye to Adam and Emma. Thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate you. And we'll be in touch soon. Fantastic. Alrighty, so next steps, you're probably wondering, what do I do next? Well, the next steps are to apply to Cohort 3 via the website, opf.degree/opf-academy. I believe Jacob can drop the link in the comments below. It takes around about 10 minutes to complete. It doesn't have to be perfect. We'll hopefully get an interview so we can learn more about what you're looking to bring to the Academy. And if you apply before Sunday, September 10th, which is this upcoming Sunday, it's 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you will be eligible for our $14.90 pricing tier, saving $500 off tuition as well. Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for joining us, everyone. We will stay on for a few moments. If you have any questions, feel free to pop them into the comment section. we'll see if we have anything that people are interested in finding out. If we don't get any questions, that's okay. We've answered everything in this very informative presentation, and so we can hop off. But wait for a few seconds and see if anyone wants to drop anything in the comments. Fantastic. Well, this video will be available on our website for you to check out at a later time. We have more information on our website as well, and you can always reach out to contact us if you're interested in learning a little bit more or getting some more details. But with that, good luck with the application process, and we hope to see you in cohort 3. Have a fantastic day, everyone. Thank you so much, Julia. Thank you so much, Denise. Thank you so much, Emma and Adam as well. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Take care.
Bye, everyone.